Hey, it's Sean from GoPart.com. We're here working on a 2005 Toyota Camry. It's going to be about the same for any 02 to 06 Camry. For this installation video, we're going to be taking off the side mirror. And there's nothing wrong with our mirror, so we're going to take it off, put it back on. This is more for reference. But this is a very, very common repair, especially if you live where I live in Southern California, where a lot of cars, a lot of street parking. You know, you get clipped. Maybe the kids ran by the car while it was in the garage and hit the mirror, and the next thing you know, it's hanging by its wiring harnesses. We actually do sell these at GoPart.com. Ours do not come painted, so if you wanted to match the paint, you can usually go either to a dealership or to an auto parts store that has a paint counter, and they can look up your VIN, get the right color paint to match, and then you can go ahead and paint it. But as I said, for this installation, there's nothing wrong with our mirror, so we're just going to leave it as is, or we're going to, reattach the same mirror. Tools we're going to need for the job is we're going to be using a small flathead screwdriver, as well as a 10mm socket ratchet. I got a short extension on here, makes it a little bit easier. If you're worried about the trim here, you can use a small towel to prevent scratching. Because I have a small flathead screwdriver, and I've done this before, I'm not too worried about scratching it. I won't scratch anything, but it's always good practice. That's a pretty simple installation. It'll take just a few minutes. What we'll do first is take the small flathead screwdriver, and you want to carefully pry and remove this trim panel. Now, it won't take much pressure. You go ahead and pull your trim panel right off. Then what you're going to see is three 10mm bolts that are holding the side mirror to the door. Alright, so you want to go ahead and loosen those up. Now I'm going to loosen them partially before I take them off the whole way, because I'm actually going to disconnect the wiring harness here in a moment. I don't want the mirror falling and smashing on the driveway. That would never be good, because then we would be replacing a side mirror for it. So you can use a small flathead screwdriver. You see there's a little tab on the underside of the wiring harness here where you can push that tab down. You can pull the wiring harness. Let's see, coming out. You lift the tab up, and then the wiring harness comes right out. Now, one thing worth noting is if your Camry was manufactured in America, it's really easy to replace the side mirror, because the wiring harness is right here. On Japanese-made Camrys, they actually put the wiring harness down here, so you would have to actually take off the door panel in order to replace your mirror. We have a video for that as well. But that's worth noting. Most Camrys from this era that you come across here in the States are going to be manufactured in the U.S. So the mirror does have the wiring harness right here up top. So what we'll do now is loosen the rest of the bolts. And again, you want to hang on to the mirror as you're pulling off the last couple of bolts, as you don't want to let it just fall to the ground. So let me try to get out of your way here and our mirror will slide right off, just like that. See, there I am. Hello. There is a gasket here. If you're replacing your mirror and it doesn't have the gasket, you're going to want to slide this gasket off, slide it onto your new assembly, and then and then you want to go ahead and mount it. But mounting, it's obviously the exact opposite of the removal process. Go ahead and use the mounting studs to make sure you got it lined up properly. Make sure you aren't pinching anything. Okay. Hang on to it a little bit. I want to make sure I don't. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Oops. there we go. Now you want to go ahead and start your bolts. 3 10mm nuts here. You just want to get them on there hand tight to begin, just to basically get the mirror in place, and then we can go ahead and tighten them up after we don't have to worry about the mirror falling off the door. Okay, so now those bolts are there. We'll tighten them up in a moment. You want to go ahead and connect your mirror's wiring harness, snap that into place, give it a gentle little tug, make sure it's in there. And then we're going to go ahead and take a 10mm socket ratchet. We're going to go ahead and tighten these up real nice and snug. Doesn't have to be overly tight, but you obviously do want to make sure that you aren't going to lose your mirror driving down the freeway or highway. I'm actually not from out here, and we used to call them highways. Now I've been trained to call them freeways. Interesting little tidbit that you probably don't care about. Either way, okay, so there we go. Mirror's mounted. You want to go ahead and give it a quick check. Make sure, yep, that's not going anywhere. Although, just for my own peace of mind, I'm going to give it one more check. There we go. We're in good shape. Take the small trim panel, move it right into position. Snaps right into place. Right into place. And there you go. You're all set.